So the next question, how do you go about recruiting highly qualified individuals for your core team? Because that's what we are trying to do in
Exactly.
our ministry.
Yeah. So I would say this. I mean, there's multiple points I can kind of point out, but I would say the strongest 2 points that I can point out immediately is that the people that is excellent at what they do, or what we asked, is not the people that you find. They found you. So people ask me all the time, like, oh, how do you find a staff, or how do you find that staff? And the next question is, how do you keep them? Well, the thing is, I don't go out and, hey, do you want to work for me? But more about keep your speakers really loud. Market yourself as a vision that you see. If you are here with me with a shared vision of making Little Saigon the best place for Vietnamese people to live, Orange County for the best place that Asian people live, Southern California, you're in the right place. Join our cause. That is our cause. We will fight the battle every single day. We will not quit until we see that into reality. We build this community. And so as long as you share the vision, they found you, and you just need to accept them. Now, the next question would be, do you have the platform strong enough to accept them and keep them? And I think the ministry can find us very strongly because obviously you have a set of belief. And the people that come to you is not because, Pastor, you don't go out to, just randomly and just, hey, do you want to come to our home? But it's more about always constantly talking about what your house can provide, what your vision would be, what do you do every day? And if people have chance to take a look at it and think, whoa, I'm subscribing to this. I understand this vision. I believe in his cause. I believe in their cause. I would like to be a part of it. And they find their way to you. And I think that's important.
Yeah, one of the important criteria that we have to select the qualified mentees is that if they share a similar set of core values with us or not. And I think that probably is exactly what you just explained.
Yes.
Very good. Now, question number three. Can you elaborate on your process for creating and executing training program for managers and across all of your restaurants? Because I don't think that you can run around the whole day from one another one. But I observe that for each restaurant, the management service, the way how it's served is excellent.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Pastor. So by addressing this question, I would like to say that we're actually not doing that great of a job yet. So this is something that we're continuously working on. Our training program is there in beginning to get people on board. Now, what we're struggling with actually is the next step. How do you keep people engaged, retraining, and constantly reminding them on the vision, right? Constantly reminding them on the vision and help them with the execution every day so that they can stay the course.
You make up some slogan?
We actually need to, but we don't. But at least from our hiring standpoint, we know for a fact that within our own criteria is, do I like this person as a person? Can I grab a beer with this person after shift? Do I trust my staff, my kid with this person? If I do, then they are hired, regardless of experience. Because you can train a person on the technicalities. It's very easy. But I think restaurants or any other business or even the ministry, anyone that we hire, you should hire for personality, not for skills. IQ you can teach. You can teach them the technicality of it every single day. You can keep retraining. There's one thing you cannot change. You cannot change them from a bad person to a good person. I mean, you might be able to influence them some way, shape, or form, but deep down in their core, how they were born, how they were raised at home, the people that influence in their life matters so much more. And you can't really train that. Even if you could, it takes a real long time.
Yeah, you're so right, Chef Viet. I observe that nowadays company no longer strictly check the IQ of the qualified applicants, but they want to see if that one has a soft skill, social skill. They call EQ, emotional quotient, and you're on the right track. So I believe that you would move on to further success, and we pray for you to achieve that vision, because that's a very noble vision that I don't think many people in the business see it. That's a very noble, and you have a teamwork spirit there. You have cooperative spirit there.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Tuan, any more comments or questions?
Well, first of all, looking at my watch, we are close to 3:15. Are we okay to go past the time that we will?
My next meeting is at 3:30, so as long as
okay, all right, good, thank you. Well, it's very interesting to discuss business ideas and vision and challenges with you. You mentioned, hiring and then keeping people difficult. What is your experience in terms of motivating them? Asking people to do more than the minimum. How people can. How do you get the discretionary energy, effort from them?
Yeah, I think it's important to remind people that if there's a saying that if you like what you do, then you never have to work a day in your life.
Right.
I think it's really not true. So you have to remind the kids. I think that's a bad advice. If you love what you do, you just don't quit. But you're gonna work way harder than most people, and if you work harder than most people and you don't quit, then you never lose. And I keep telling them, you would never lose in this game of life if you don't ever quit. Because if you don't lose and you keep restarting over and over again, then how do you lose? You don't. You just keep on going.
Yeah.
Eventually you will win. Determinations, right? So remind people that loving what they do, subscribing to something bigger than themselves, is how you're really gonna motivate them to keep on going. You don't motivate them keep on going, oh, I'm gonna give you a bigger paycheck, and like that. There's a limit in everyone's, I would say, perseverance, right? So there's just no way that they don't have a cap. The only way that they can, it's not like, so I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. To motivate somebody, you can't just ask them to try their hardest to reach the cap, but continuously pushing the cap up. And knowing that as long as they try a little bit harder tomorrow, then they'll be able to push that cap. And there's just one story about this general, and he's training the Navy SEALs, which is after the Navy SEAL is the highest, right? And within that Navy SEAL, and he's one of the best trainer. And his class is the class that graduate the most amount of SEALs. And people ask him, like, how do you motivate them? And like, are you selling them a vision, a big vision? Like, yes. I mean, the end vision is to protect the country, yes. But it's important for them to push themselves a little bit every day. So on the first day that they come in, the first thing that I really drill them down is just wake them up on time. If they wake up on time, then think about the next thing, which is making their bed, right? If they can just get that done on the second day, then the third day I'm like, okay, now that you made your bed, can you push the first 4 miles? After you push the first 4 miles, then the third day and the fourth day, and you keep on going, And so you I would say break up your tasks into smaller achievable tasks, and just do that all the time. And then and you keep pushing it to a point where you almost broke, but you don't. And then you go back into a beautifully made bed, and then you just smaller, and it's keep the motivation going.
Okay, so it sounds like you motivate people by training, by developing them to achieve their potential, and sometimes people don't
pushing
know
their potential.
And pushing their potential too, because a good leader is someone that help people to do more than what they realize they can. And in ministry, we usually don't have money to reward people and to motivate people, so we have to use other methods, other incentive to get people to work in ministry, work as volunteers. So those are good ideas. Okay.
Yeah, I would say most important for them is leaving a legacy. So remind them that everything would turn to dust. They just know escaping it. And there's a saying by Steve Jobs, like, everyone wants to go to heaven, but even the people that want to go to heaven doesn't want to die to get there, right?
Okay,
everyone's
flies fast.
Yeah.
Probably I need to stop recording here, and I will say a lot of thanks to Chef Viet. And thank you for those who watched this video. It's more than 45 minutes, 50 minutes or something like that.
All right, that's a long time.
Appreciate very much. And if anyone want to have any more question or contact with us, please write down my email address, antam007@yahoo.com, antam007@yahoo.com.